Good afternoon, everyone. Sa ngalan po ng aming kalihim, Secretary Silvestre Bello III, we congratulate PCCI for this successful activity. So we will be sharing with you some information about the future of jobs, educating and upskilling our workforce. So if we can have the next slide, please. All right, taking off from the plenary 2 presentation, indeed, we are in the process of transitioning to the 4th industrial revolution. From the emergence of mechanization and digital electronics, we are now in an era characterized by digital technologies such as artificial intelligence and big data, the Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, neuro and nanotechnology, cloud computing, and energy storage, among others. All of which fuses the physical, digital, and biological worlds and transforms the way we live, work, and communicate. With the advent of technological advancement, it is therefore important for us to know what is in store for Filipino workforce as we shift to Industry 4.0. These emerging technologies provide a multiple of opportunities that boost economic productivity, enhance food security, improve environmental protection and agricultural production, as well as enhance public service delivery, such as healthcare, communication, and transportation. Along with these benefits are challenges that the country needs to face, such as employment and outcome uncertainties, new forms of health hazards, and social protection issues. The wave of technological advancements that we are experiencing is disrupting global labor markets due to emerging jobs that could either displace entire roles or enhance job creation by leveraging on distinct human skills. So what should we do to ensure that the Filipino workforce remains competitive? Our workers will still need to transform to complex, higher value services that still require human involvement. This is where upskilling and reskilling of our workers come in. But before we upskill and reskill our workers, there's also a need to identify which industries and which skills will be relevant in the 4th industrial revolution. The Department of Labor and Employment, through our Bureau of Local Employment, has published the Jobs Fit Labor Market Information Report 2022. And this report provides labor market information on industries that will create and the skills needed for the future. Jobs Fit aims to help students and job seekers make informed education, training, and cultural choices. It also aids policymakers in terms of decision making and direction setting, both for the public and private sector. The report has been widely distributed and are being used by our stakeholders, partner government agencies, the academe, and the industry partners. Both national and regional reports of Jobs Fit 2020 is available online through the DOLE-BLE website and through the links that are provided in the slides. One of the key findings of the Jobs Fit 2022 is what we call the Key Employment Generating Sectors, or KEGs. We have 10 on screen, and these are the industry groups with the greatest potential to generate employment and absorb bulk of our workforce in the years to come. The report also identified 2 emerging industries, or the industry groups that are growing at a rate faster than the economy and exhibiting potential to grow and prosper. And this includes the renewable energy and also the shipbuilding and ship repair. Jobs Fit 2022 also includes a list of emerging jobs related to Industry 4.0. These jobs mainly focus on the use of the internet, social media, artificial intelligence, big data, and research. Information on both in-demand and supply side of our labor market are detailed in the Jobs Fit report, as well as the action agenda for the issues gathered from the private sector, the academe, and the government through rounds of national and regional consultations. Aside from the Jobs Fit LMI report, the DOLE also conducted the Philippine Talent Map initiative. In fact, we have PCCI and ECOP as two of our partners, including the academe and also the local government units and training institutions. The Philippine Talent Map initiative examines the current trends and issues that both the academe and industry face in terms of workforce development. It identifies the talent, skills, and training needs of the Filipino workforce aligned with the 21st century skills, or what we commonly call as life skills. And this study has been conducted with our partner private sector company, the SFI group of companies, and we thank them for partnering with us on this initiative. The PTMI identified English functional skills, math functional skills, workplace ethics, multitasking, and English comprehension as the top competencies of the Filipino workforce. Meanwhile, the report identified the following competencies that needs to be improved through education and training: problem sensitivity, decision-making, innovation, planning and organizing, and creative problem solving. These are crucial competencies to be competitive in the world of work, especially in the fourth industrial revolution. Another government initiative in the next slide. Next slide, please. All right. Is the Philippine Qualifications Framework. I hope that everyone knows about the Philippine Qualifications Framework by now. This is a quality-assured national system for the development, recognition, and award of qualifications based on standards of knowledge, skills, and values acquired in different ways and methods by learners and workers of the country. The DOLE, together with TESDA, DepEd, CHED, and PRC, sits at the National Coordinating Council of the PQF. This initiative is strongly linked with the Career Guidance Advocacy Program, or CGAP, which the DOLE, as lead of the working group, together with the same PQF agencies and DOST. Labor market information are cascaded to career guidance advocates through CGAP, which immerses both parents and students on the realities of the labor market. Our advocates have been working very hard to use career guidance as an effective tool in addressing the job skills mismatch. Still on Industry 4.0, the DOLE organized a media forum called Kapihan on the Fourth Industrial Revolution this July to serve as a platform for the discussion of the nature and attributes of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, its impact on labor market, and how Philippine government and the private sector are responding to adapting such changes. Various literature shows us that disruption that the Industry 4.0 could bring, and what will the future labor market look like. First, jobs will not likely be created in entirely the same place as they are displaced, meaning manual, routinary, repetitive, non-cognitive jobs and tasks will be automated and will be eventually phased out. Potential new roles to be created are cognitive, non-codifiable, and creative jobs and tasks. Second, the agriculture sector will experience by far the largest net loss of jobs. New farming technologies may take over, but it still depends on the country's technical and economic absorptive capacity. Third, the burden of transition will fall mostly and heavily on elementary workers and skills agricultural workers, considering their high probability of automation. Hence, they must be supported and guided in their transition to acquire new skills and new jobs. Fourth, large productivity gains are expected to be delivered via advanced robotics and artificial intelligence. Yield in production in the manufacturing industry, trade, IT BPM, and many other industries could be anticipated as automation boosts the whole supply chain. Last but not the least, millions of existing roles will disappear from the labor market, pushing more workers into other industries and occupations. Hence, workers must also evolve with the demands of time. All right. Here are some policy recommendations that we've looked at for the Industry 4.0. The advent of Industry 4.0 will create a demand for continuous human capital development to reskill and upskill the Filipino workers in order to keep up with the demands of technological advancement. Both technical and soft skills need to be strengthened in order to ensure that the Filipino workers will stay competitive. Safety nets for employees who may be affected by the loss of redundant jobs due to automation are also needed. Unemployment insurance, livelihood assistance, employment facilitation, and training should be readily available for affected workers should the needs for such arise. New working conditions and health standards are also an answer to Industry 4.0. New laws, we have the Telecommuting Act already, need to be enacted. The mental health law must also be upheld as there are emerging jobs that expose workers to harmful online content that could trigger psychological crisis. Infrastructure needed for connectivity are also of much importance since emerging jobs due to Industry 4.0 require the need to be connected online. And finally, incentives and other benefits must be offered to increase the productivity of companies and workers. We at the DOLE remain steadfast in preparing our workforce for Industry 4.0. In partnership with DTI, CHED, TESDA, and DepEd, the DOLE will help develop the PH Roadmap 4.0. This initiative is in collaboration with Skills Future Singapore, so we can craft a strategic plan for both our industry and our workforce. The DOLE-BLE will also publish a midterm update of the JobsFit 2022 Labor Market Information Report to keep up with the changing market landscape. So I'd like to conclude with the following. In the changing world of work, lifelong learning will be the norm. As in the words of Alvin Toffler, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Let us all work together to be able to minimize the negative effects and harness the benefits of Industry 4.0. It may seem difficult and complicated at this point, but just like any other previous industrial revolutions, with our openness and resilience, we will be able to adapt to these technological innovations. I am pleased and encouraged that through events like these, we embark on the process of thinking about future possibilities and continuously forging a vision and strategy to cope with the times. I wish all of us fruitful and productive day ahead as we translate our thoughts into strategies and more importantly, into actions. Maraming salamat po.